We've been following breaking news out of Madison, Wisconsin. The FBI is on the scene of a deadly school shooting. We know at least 3 people were killed, believed to include the juvenile shooter, who was also believed to be a student at the school, and at least 7 others have been transported to area hospitals. This took place, as I mentioned, in Madison, Wisconsin, just before 11 a.m. local time at Abundant Life Christian School. It's a private school that teaches hundreds of students from kindergarten through 12th grade. Officials have not yet released information regarding who the victims are. We know that the president has been briefed on the incident, and the FBI and the ATF are on the scene and assisting in the investigation. Here's the Madison police chief.
Today, around 10:57 a.m., our officers were responding to a call of an active shooter at the Abundant Life Christian School here in Madison. When officers arrived, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. We train on this almost quarterly. The last time we trained on this as commanders was approximately 2 weeks ago. The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly.
This is still a very active situation. People are being asked to avoid the area. In the last hour, police said they had already conducted a secondary search of the school, and they're working on a third search with bomb dogs, and they were also going to be clearing vehicles to make sure the threat was eliminated. Again, the person believed to be the shooter is believed to be a student at the school, is deceased. Police did not fire their weapons.
People make me laugh with all their politics and they're picking sides. Oh, we can't afford to have security or arm this or do that, or, you know, everybody in their politics. Nobody gives a shit about them babies. They don't care about them babies. You pay the money. You collectively take 0.0000001% out of the pocket that you put your greased palm in. You take that and y'all collectively put that together and pay to protect our children. But there's truckloads of kids somewhere. There's chomos every 2 doors. They can't keep them in jail. There's so many of them. Okay, cool. Put the unalivers, the grapers, and them, and then put them in a box, and then do whatever you're gonna do with them.
It is believed that that person died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Just to give you an idea of the scope of the search, according to the school's website, the school sits on a 28-acre campus, which includes athletic fields, play areas, and parking. Here's what a neighbor told one of our crews near the scene.
I came out to see my brother. We talked for a bit, and then he went home. And about, I'd say a minute later, there's like 20 cop cars that were going at a high rate of speed right past my house, and I knew something was up, so I was kind of worried. I knew it wasn't just a regular incident. It was something else.
Anna Schechter is in Studio 57 with me. She's a senior coordinating producer for our CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit. Also with us, former FBI Assistant Director and current public safety consultant, Brian Botig. I want to go ahead to Anna first. Anna,
bro, who punched you in your eyes, man? I jammied him. Rest in peace, Tremaine. That eye. So with that eye.
There's been a lot of information coming at us. I know you're tracking it all. What are some of your top lines?
Well, the top lines that this was an active shooter situation with 3 deceased, including the shooter, 7 people injured. The local hospitals were triaging, were ready for this because there was good coordination early on, immediately between the police and those healthcare providers. But we still don't know anything about the shooter and the profile. I know that investigation is underway. So what investigators are doing now is they're seeking warrants to go to his home, obtain his laptop, cell phone, any device that he might have had, and they're going to go pouring through that, and they're going to be looking for anyone who might have worked with the shooter to help the shooter obtain the weapon, make the plan, or even provide encouragement to carry it out, because they're going to be casting a wide net looking at accountability, especially since the shooter is deceased.
Those pieces of the puzzle, the accountability will be important. Obviously, not much solace to the families of the victims, but why is it so important to piece together that puzzle, find out a potential motive, and find out what, if any, help the shooter may have gotten?
Well, that accountability is going to be key. What law enforcement want to do, because the suspect is deceased, is they want to make sure that every single individual who might have had anything to do with this is investigated, and if they committed any crimes, you have the justice system play out.
A big question, as your guest just said, is how this person was able to get the gun, and that'll be a question for ATF as well as local police. That's one of the big things that we want to know, is how old this person was and how they were able to get the gun, what type of gun as well.
Here's what's crazy, like, it's different for me. If it's a grown man, I don't care why he did it. But if it's a kid, we should probably know why. We should probably know more than just how did they get the gun. We should probably know why. We should probably know what is going on in this kid's head that made this happen, and attack those issues. But those are not issues that they're going to talk about.
A lot of people jump to conclusions, obviously, every time something like this happens and we have in mind what kind of gun this was. We certainly want to know for sure. One thing that we learned from the news briefing originally a couple hours ago from the police chief here in Madison was that this being a private school, it does not fall under the same standards and purview as the local public school district. And so when it comes to security and some of the measures, the physical measures in place to keep somebody out, to keep this school safe, we simply don't know yet. We don't know if metal detectors were at this school. We don't know what type of private security they may have had.
Yeah, man, we need to know why. Why do these kids feel like this is how this shit gotta happen? The culture of bullying is a culture of, it starts with the whole jokes and capping on each other and shit like that, and there's no education on it that deals with it from an honest place.
That Boys and Girls Club of Madison is sponsoring the vigil here, and they will remember the victims, a teacher, a teenage student, and 6 others who were shot and seriously injured in the shooting. Meantime, police still trying to determine what led the 15-year-old girl, a student at the school, to open fire.
Mourners leave flowers and candles at the school. Many in the community have no connection to the small Christian school.
I mean, them kids just went to school that day, you know? Like every other day. Shout out, Jonathan, if I had to put my conspiracy hat on a life experience, I'd say bullying, especially being a young girl, having to deal with society and the standards put on technology, helping, hurting. I agree.
School with fewer than 400 students, but they are all deeply saddened. A number of employees from the Abundant Life Christian School have also left remembrances at a growing memorial in front of the school.
This is a good town, and for something to happen like this up here, I ain't never been to a town or a city where nothing like this happened at.
Madison police are getting assistance in the investigation from the FBI. They say they have searched the home of the shooter, 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who went by
the name of Samantha.
Hoping to find clues that reveal her motive for opening fire with a gun inside a study hall at the school. A parent tells ABC that she enrolled in the school only about a year ago. Police say they're looking at a number of factors as possible motives, but don't want to jeopardize the investigation by revealing what they've learned so far.
Everyone was targeted in this incident, and everyone was put in equal danger.
I heard gunshots and screaming, and it was all really scary. I was screaming like, ah, my leg, help!
This is Natalie Rupnow, the 15-year-old girl who carried out a deadly mass shooting at a private Christian school in Wisconsin. The US has recorded over 300 school shootings this year alone, but this case was highly unusual. For one thing, female mass shooters are extremely rare and usually involve family, but Rupnow didn't seem to have an obvious target.
So, Jonathan, growing up, I was bullied, but I got to go out. I wasn't always on technology. It seems like more and more people are still being bullied, but people have more access to technology early in life. Yeah, they're talking shit to each other on Roblox and shit.
Second, she killed a teacher and a student, wounded a second teacher and 5 other students, and then turned the gun on herself. Police believe the attack was premeditated and are looking into several factors including bullying. But this post of Rupnow at a gun range reveals she may have had other influences. If you look closely, she's wearing a black t-shirt with the logo of KMFDM, a German rock band. It's eerily similar to the shirt worn by Eric Harris, one of the Columbine shooters. The Columbine massacre of 1999 was the deadliest American school shooting
So
at the
we
time.
don't see that? Nobody saw that? Nobody saw those specific warning signs that she's rocking Columbine shooter gear and shit? That's crazy. That's madness.
And its coverage became a blueprint for future attacks. Columbine changed the conversation around gun violence in the US and is still regularly referenced today. Rupnow's father commented on that photo, saying she had joined a local shooting range and was loving every second of it.
You know, I believe that our teenagers should know how to handle and be responsible with firearms, right? But you gotta deal with their minds first. I'm sure it wasn't hard for her to just bring a hammer from home. So that's all we know. She looked like she was ready for that shit.